Two of my good pals, my brother-in-law in Trinidad and Tobago, he's messaging me already to tell me I'm locked on in Port of Spain. So Anthony Valentine, big up to you. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year, Michael Johnson. And Happy New Year to all of you who are listening to us at this time. But on my way up, I was actually listening, and I commend you. You continue to do a very, very good job for and on behalf of the New Democratic Party. And one of the things that you have highlighted this morning, following up from what I happened to, in passing here a little bit of Major and the Waterman yesterday. This citizenship by investment program is something that is extremely important to us as a country. A country that has limited resources. It is of paramount importance. It is so important, but that we cannot miss this train. St. Vincent and the Grenadines cannot miss the opportunity to get on board with this citizenship by investment. Having it established, because I have a feeling that the government of the day, the ULP administration, has a limited version of the citizenship by investment going on, but it's for a selected few. And the question that we need to ask ourselves, who exactly is benefiting from the revenue that is obtained from that covert program that they're actually running? Because nobody can tell me that the government, the ULP government, is not actually participating in this citizenship by investment program, because we remember a gentleman by the name of Mr. Ames from the Bokama, infamous Bokama fame. Should I say infamous Bokama fame? Well, you know what it is.
Ames famous.
Ames famous. Thank you. I love it. Ames famous. Because the point is, this gentleman's, I am reliably informed, was in Bokama, and he was what he was doing during the course of the election campaign, putting up four fingers, four in a row. That is what he was doing there, almost doing a John Cena. You can't see me, because all the activities that they were doing there. But the same gentleman, Mr. Ames, was proclaiming that he is a Vincentian citizen and he is entitled to vote as well.
I remember that.
He wasn't born in St. Vincent, as far as I can remember. He didn't have any family in St. Vincent before he came to invest in Bokama, before he came to, have this version of a Ponzi scheme in Bokama. So in no way, shape or form he was likely to be a Vincentian. But he said that he had a Vincentian passport, he had a Vincentian ID card, and he was a registered Vincentian. How then somebody who had no prior connection to St. Vincent and the Grenadines can boast, or could have boasted, that he was a Vincentian, a bona fide Vincentian? So the point is, covertly the government is running this program, but we do not know as a country, as a nation, how that revenue is being used. And this is what people need. These are the questions that people need to ask, rather than follow one or two people and try to shoot down the idea of the New Democratic Party wanting to establish legally the citizenship by investment program. You ought to find out how much money was acquired. One, how many people receive Vincentian passport and nationality based on their perceived investment. How many people? Those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves, and these are the questions that we need to demand of the powers that be, so that we can have this clarity. Because, one of the reasons why I'm thinking that the government does not like this program, it is because all the countries that have successfully run the citizenship by investment program, they have done so in broad daylight. They were not under the radar. They have done their due diligence, and the program is running. It is running successfully, but the Unity Labour Party hates what is called accountability and transparency, because if they establish in honest officially this program, they know that they would have to be transparent and they would also have to be accountable. And those are two words that they afraid, like I always say to them, they afraid that like how John afraid holy water. Those are things, are words which are not synonymous with this government. That is why they are trying to shoot down the idea. But they themselves are benefiting. If they are not benefiting, why is it that Ames could have declared himself? Why did he declare himself as a Vincentian? Is it based on the fact that he invested money into the country? And if so, how much did the government coffers receive? How much was received? You see, we need to just look at this very simple. Like a household, for example. A household has certain economic activities. For example, you want to do sugar cake. You want to make some money. So that is your economic activity. That is what you are doing actually to generate some revenue. You may have somebody who's picking plums from the same family. You know, pick some green plum or red plum, whatever the case may be. You want to make plum stew. You want to bag them out and sell them, whatever the case may be. All the activities that you actually participate in to bring money into your coffers, into your household, that is your revenue. That is your revenue. All that you do, your total accounted for your total revenue. But you may well find, but Patel, that there's a situation when all the money that come in are not necessarily enough to take care of the expenses of the household. So therefore, what you need to do in order to cover the expenses, or have a situation where you have to, you know, you're always finding yourself in a situation where the opportunity cost existing. That is to say, in order for you to obtain one product, you have to give up another. And you know, they say the real cost of you getting this phone is not so much the price of the phone in dollars and cents, you know, but all the other things that you have to sacrifice. You have to give up all those things in order to satisfy this one need. It is the same thing that happens in a household. So what do you do in order to kind of have a better standard of living, a better quality of life for your household, your members of that particular household? You would need to have more revenue. You need to have more money. And you don't necessarily want to have a situation where you want to go into another business and you have to come up with capital, extra money to start up, and so on. What you need is what we call an injection. So if somebody in the diaspora could have sent you through Western Union or MoneyGram or some other means, some money, and they're smiling a lot. You're smiling a lot. My experience with the Western Union was a very nice holiday.
You said send me, not so.
All right. You're on a record as not being able to get money, so you can't see it.
I'm blacklisted. Anyway, the point is, you need extra money, and you need somebody, a good friend of yours, to come and give you some extra money. You understand? So that is an injection. That is extra money that you did not have to work so hard for. You understand me? You don't have to get the extra capital. You don't have to go to the bank or anything like that. Or if that doesn't work, it means now that you must now go to the bank, get a loan, and then when that money comes in, you may be able over the short term to make life better for your household. But a couple of months down the road, what they used to get is even going to be small enough, because you now have to concentrate on repaying that loan. That you have to service the loan. You see, that is what, you know, simply put, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the state of affair that we find ourselves in, because there's this tremendous sacrifice, tremendous pain, and agony that the government is going through in order to fix a road. Patel, you've been making that point over and over. You know, one of the times, you know, when we were on radio here, I remember you saying that what the government could have done is when the South Leeward Highway was being
let's recap the top, yeah,
rehabilitated, the walls, they were just the existing stone walls and so on that were there. They just chip off the top and build on it. But you were saying that down there?
Yeah.
And look at how long it takes for them to come back to the very idea that you were giving them a long time ago.
But even that too, not to cut you, but they behave as if there's nothing could be done, and even some of the wall that they were able to get dig out the bottom of the old wall and start from the bottom and come right up back.
Well,
so
there you go.
They were talking without investigating.
Precisely. The sum total of it is that they did not intend to do anything to, kind of make lives, protect lives, But I am saying all these things to say that what St. Vincent need is not another loan. I don't care how soft the loan is, because our country is already carrying a tremendous burden. Before we can actually pay salary, before you can pay the road workers, people no longer get in 14 days. If you get 14 days, it's like shouting glory hallelujah on the road. The norm was 10 days, but in recent times they get in a maximum of 7 days. St. Vincent and the Grenadines cannot afford another loan, because before the hospital can get medicine, before all the competing sectors of government can get a single cent, they have to service their loan. And we would be talking a lot about this, because it is the time when we are going to have the estimates and the budget presented for 2019. And we'll be talking so much about the loan, the principal, and the interest and so on. They're technical terms, but we would not go into them at this particular time. So those have to be serviced before essential services can actually get a single dime. So what we need is not a situation where the country is going into further and further debt. Right-thinking Vincentians would give the New Democratic Party an opportunity to get an injection into our economy, getting extra money into our economy by the implementation of the Citizenship by Investment program. That's what we need. And we see a classic example in St. Kitts. The Kittitians, as Patel alluded to, and Bart, I think you may have done it earlier, they, in December, they were given an extra month. I heard some of these wicked people saying that is all the Kittitian government could have gave the citizens from running that program. Go in St. Kitts and talk to the people who were benefiting, who felt so good that they got an extra month's salary. Go and talk to the lower end employees who get an extra $500.
And even that nature, for example, a police constable in St. Kitts will start with $2,600, so you can imagine you get a double salary there.
Come on.
That is $5,200 compared to the Vincent constable who start with about 12.
That's the point. You understand what's going on here? So, what, Trump said, I know a lot of people don't like Trump. Sometimes I am a champion. I boldly say I am a Republican by heart, all right, but not necessarily agree with all of the policies. But one of the things that Trump said, and asked the black community out there, what the hell do you have to lose? Things are bad with you already. You've been voting the Democrats all the time. What is wrong? What do you have to lose if you switch and vote Republicans? But I'm asking the same question out there. What do we have to lose as Vincentians by virtue of giving the New Democratic Party an opportunity to legally implement the Citizenship by Investment program? Everybody else is benefiting from it. Look at Dominica, one of the last countries in the Caribbean to have that program. They are saving millions every month. And you know why what they're doing with that? They put that aside to say, this is going to give us our international airport, so that it would not cost the Dominicans any money. Not like what we hear being proclaimed.
I think it was 25 or 50 million, some
man, they have a substantial sum that they put aside. They don't have to touch that.
Million they already collected.
Exactly. So what happened to us?
And they didn't sell off no lands.
It's a clear indication that the government of the day, if people can't see it, I don't know what we can do to make it any clearer to you that this is a government who is delighting itself in creating pain and suffering for Vincentians. You have a situation, you have a program that can make things easier. Because not what I was saying earlier. The loans, we don't want to be laden with further loans. Because, you know, you have to service them before you get a single dollar to service your other sectors. Why is it that we can't lift the burden of the Vincentian people? Because what the government is doing, you know, is taxing the living daylight out of our country, out of an impoverished country. Couldn't we have a situation now where in the 2019 budget, we have a situation where tax revenue, you know, the government can say, okay, then we expect to get more money, but the burden is taken off the taxpayers of this country. You know what that would do to our people? You know what that would do to our people? If we have a reduction in income tax, if we have a reduction at the tax, value at the tax, the VAT, that motorizing people here, if we can take off the VAT completely, I've split it in two, because we have something else that we can get the money. They can't do it. They cannot do it because they are shooting down the idea of citizenship by investment. But they're going to ask Vincentians to pay more. Come on, Vincentians must be walking now with their belly, you know, like a donkey. You load up the donkey with so much load. You almost see like the donkey belly touching the ground. That is what Vincentians, come on. We cannot allow our people to carry the burden. And Vincentians, it is time for us to wake up. It is something that can help us, but you talk about it. But you talk about it. Major, you talk about it all the time. That program within our constituency, where we have a constituency development fund, you know how much it breaks my heart every time I drive from home and I reach on the block in Kittels. How many people I see there just about have nothing to do. You know how much it breaks my heart when I sit at home, when I look at my porch from my porch, I look over to Rocher Bay. I can see all the youngsters by the wayside. Look down bottom Kittels. They're on the tree lineman. They're just about. In Cleverly, it is the same thing. In Camden Park, in Chauncey, in Welland Hill. Go across to Penniston, in Dubois. Go through Retreat right now. They're on the block. Go up into Vermont. They're on the block. They do not have anything to do. But we, if the New Democratic Party was in office, you know, this citizenship by investment program would have been running. We would have had money easily allocated to each constituency so that a retaining wall could have been built in the various areas. Look at Vermont, for example. Since 2013, when we had that terrible flood, the road remained the same. It was eroded so badly. The road is now so scarred. You know what I think is saving the road? In two different locations along the road there from Retreat going down to Penniston side. There are two mango trees there. The roads are exposed now because of the amount of erosion that took place by the river there. If those were to go down, we would have no road. Vermont would be cut off completely, you know. But we can have a situation where money is given systematically so that we can have river defense work. And this government is talking so much about it. I'm waiting for them to see what they're going to bring in the estimates, you know. Because over the years, they've been telling you how much money, every time they come, it's how much money they have to spend, and we can't see nothing done. I'm going to wrap up with this. They're not any better, government any better than me, but you know why? I catch you my no. But hear the story. I have a building that has been given to me for my constituency office now, right? Again, I want to thank Jerry and Rafi Scott for the time that I had in their building. You know, but we had to move because, you know, the building is not yours. And after over a period of time, you know, you'll come back to the drawing board and say, boy, I think this is what I would want to do with the building and so on. So we move out of that, and somebody has graciously given us another building, but it is in a state of almost disrepair. We want materials. We want the roof covered. We ain't got no money yet in the but we can't cover it. We ain't got galvanized. We ain't got lumber. We ain't got no nothing yet. So I think I did have an estimate. First thing, And it's the same thing the government is doing when they come with the estimates. It is an estimate of what they want to do, just like what we have in Camden Park. It is what we plan to do in the foreseeable future. So when we put down how much galvanized we want, how much 2x4 and so on, all the materials, I could walk around with an estimate in my pocket and show the wall. Does it mean that nature can do it next week?
That will come from somewhere.
The money now must come from somewhere. And that is why it breaks my heart to the boy. A beggar from a beggar. How does it go again?
Make God vex.
Make God laugh. No, a thief from a thief make God laugh. But a beggar from a beggar,
make God vex.
Make God vex. Well, okay. But you know, seriously, I want to ask people out there, if you have an extra piece of 2x4 home, call me. You have an extra galvanizer, you do some construction, renovation, I have extra. We need some materials. If you can do that for us, please. We want to have that particular area beaming again. We want to be, I'm saying it loudly, I'm saying it boldly, we want to be the beacon of the New Democratic Party. When we get that place done, and it's going to be the envy.
The gatekeeper?
Well, I don't want to introduce that. The gate, you can't get a gatekeeper in your house, so you can put out a gate in your house. You understand? We want to have the constituency house. So we have our estimate, but the government is going to bring an estimate. How long is it going to take me to construct, Patel? It depends on how much money that I'm able to get to sacrifice. You understand? Or depend on the generosity of others. But ideally, I would not like to be dependent on other people. It is the same thing that the government is going to be presenting to us. So when you hear later this month, because they say something like the 23rd would be the day when the estimates would be tabled, but I don't believe this government. They've always been so late. They would come with something, and you know, one of the newspapers, the newspaper here that is loyal to the government, you know, one of the things that they said one time, we had $900 and something million budget, record budget tabled in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Yes, that is what you want to spend. How much of the things that you have there, just like I have in my office that I want to get done, will be done based on your revenue. If you look at your own neck of the woods, village by village, constituency by constituency, how long now have you seen a pothole in a road and they can't change? They can't fix. How long have you seen a wall breakdown and they can't fix? How long have you seen public buildings dilapidated and they can't fix? It is a state. It is something that describes the state.